I analyzed the Supreme Court judgment, the certified true copy, and some strange things rear their heads. They come up. Number one, in a 62-page judgment obtained Thursday by Daily Post, the Supreme Court made it clear that there was no iota or shred of evidence to support the claim that the 27 House of Assembly members had defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. No shred or iota of evidence. What does this mean? Does this mean that the open public declaration of these same 27 lawmakers that they had defected from the PDP to the APC is of zero effect? Does it mean that it doesn't count? Does it mean that that video or the videos that show them making this declaration and the videos that show them waving APC flag and the videos of APC accepting them into APC, does it mean that those are not evidence? Is that what it means? That those are not evidence? Is that what the Supreme Court is trying to say? At first, that is what I thought. And that is what many Nigerians think, particularly Wike and the 27 Pro Wike supporters. They think that the Supreme Court just said that their open declaration is not evidence. That is not what the Supreme Court said. Yes, did the Supreme Court say there's no iota? Yes, it said so. We can read it and it's an excerpt. There is no iota of shred of evidence to support the claim. Now look at it. The Supreme Court goes on to say, to worsen the situation, the judgment signed by Justice Emmanuel Ajim revealed that the Rivers State Governor, Governor Fubara, who had raised the allegations of defection against the 27 lawmakers, later withdrew the allegation of his own volition at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Now, it doesn't end here. You need to hear some more. By failing to substantiate the defection claims against the Amewule-led leadership, the Supreme Court held that, in the eyes of the law, no defection had taken place, and consequently, the status quo in the House of Assembly must remain. Justice Ajim, who endorsed the judgment, specifically stated that there cannot be a House of Assembly except as prescribed National Assembly by the 1999 Constitution. Okay. Now, here is where it gets interesting. As a result, the Supreme Court ruled that it was an aberration for Governor Fubara to make any requests, nominations, or presentations to the Rivers State House of Assembly unless they were directed to the leadership of Honorable Martins Ameole, who is believed to be loyal to the faction of former Governor Wike. As a result, the Supreme Court ruled that it was an aberration for Governor Fubara to make any request, nominations, or presentation to the Rivers State House of Assembly unless they were directed to the leadership or under Honorable Martins Amewe, who is believed, I don't even know what that is. Okay, now let's read the exact excerpt. This judgment stated that what is clear from the above concurrent findings is that the 8th respondent, which is Fubara, initiated the prevention of sittings of Rivers State House of Assembly constituted by the number of members as prescribed by the by Section 96 of the 1999 Constitution, long before the issue of the remaining 27 members defecting to another political party arose. Do you get that? So it means that the Supreme Court judgment should not be taken out of context by Wike and his group to mean that it is final victory. From what we hear, from what we read, it just simply means that the court blamed Fubara for one, not presenting evidence. So we should ask Fubara and his team, did you present any evidence that Martins Amewule and his other lawmakers defected? Did you present? Now, if you did, let us know what evidence you presented. Yes, we all saw the video. Did you present it? Was there a case instituted to challenge or to declare those seats open? Because that's what the Supreme Court is saying. And sometimes we Nigerians would like to be sentimental. And we take case out of sentiments, out of emotions. But in this case, it's good that we look at it. And we will definitely need clarifications from the Supreme Court. Not like they are bound to give us anyway, but we have a responsibility to ask because they are a Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and they are answerable to the people. Now, it says the said activities of the 8th respondent, Fubara, were adjudged by the concurrent holdings of the appeal court as illegal and unconstitutional long before the allegations of defection started. Against the background of these concurrent findings and holdings in the Court of Appeal, it is reasonable to conclude that the cross-appellant's reliance on Section 102 and 109 of the Constitution and the doctrine of necessity is intended to continue his brazen subversion of Rivers State House of Assembly, the 1999 Constitution, and legitimate government of Rivers State. Now, what does this mean? This means that the court simply reprimanded Fubara for not resorting to constitutionally acceptable means to seek redress when Amewule and his 26 lawmakers defected, or before they defected, he should not have done what he did. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. Before they defected, he should not have destroyed the Rivers House of Assembly complex. He should not have tried to prevent the Rivers House of Assembly from holding meetings. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. Before their defection. So, the Supreme Court is reprimanding Fubara for his action before the defection of these 27 pro-Wike lawmakers. Now, the Supreme Court is now saying, after Fubara has erred in law, he cannot come and claim the defection as defense. That is what it is saying. Not that the defectors are immune to removal for their defection. That is not what the Supreme Court ruling is talking about. But that the actions of Fubara that the court deemed against the law took place before the defection. Now, having by his own admission engaged in a series of illegal activities aimed at preventing the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly from participating in House proceedings and carrying out their legitimate duties, his resort to Section 102 and 109 of the 1999 Constitution and the doctrine of necessity on the basis of his allegation that they have defected is a red herring to perpetuate his subversion of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the 1999 Constitution, and democratic government. The 8th respondent, Fubara, had effectively collapsed the Rivers State House of Assembly. Therefore, no question about any member having lost his seat due to defection can validly arise. So the Supreme Court is saying, before the defection of this Martin Amaewhule, these 27 lawmakers, that the House of Assembly had been destroyed by the governor. And that if the House of Assembly had been destroyed by the governor, there is actually no House of Assembly, then the 27 lawmakers could not have defected. Therefore, no question about any member having lost his seat to defection can validly arise. There must be a functioning House of Assembly for any constitutional process therein to take place. The claim that the 27 members are no longer members of the House on the basis of alleged defection is a continuation of his determination to prevent them from participating in the proceedings of the House. It is an engagement in chicanery. Ujoro, that's chicanery. Section 102 and Section 109 of the Constitution cannot be invoked in aid of this unconstitutional enterprise. Section 102 of the Constitution, which provides that a House of Assembly may act, notwithstanding any vacancy in its membership, and the presence of any person not entitled to be present at or to participate in the proceedings of the House, shall not invalidate such proceedings, cannot be relied upon to validate the proceedings of the House of Assembly in the absence of over 90% of his member. Neither can it justify a vacancy created by the illegal exclusion of members, nor justify the contrived illegal exclusion of the 27 lawmakers and officials from the House, the illegal shutting down of the House, the destruction of the legislative building, and the blocking of the access to the House by legislators and officials. So, a government cannot be said to exist without one of the three arms that constitutes a state government under the 1999 Constitution. In this case, the executive arm has chosen to collapse the legislature, allowing the governor to rule without legislative oversight, effectively as a despot. As it stands, there is no functioning government in Rivers State. The doctrine of necessity cannot be invoked to justify the continued existence of a deliberately contrived illegal or unconstitutional status quo. It cannot be used to justify or protect the illegal action of the 8th respondent and his despotic rule over Rivers State. It applies only to genuine situations that were not contemplated by the Constitution or any law, where extraordinary but legitimate actions are required to protect public interest. The 8th respondent's fear, that's Fubara's fear, of impeachment by the House of Assembly is no justification for his attacks on the legislature, the Constitution, and the government of Rivers State, and indeed the rule of law. The political disagreements cannot justify these attacks and contempt for the rule of law by the governor of a state or any person. What the 8th respondent has done is to destroy the government due to his fear of being impeached. In light of the foregoing, I hold that the cross appeal lacks merit and is hereby dismissed. The part of the judgment of the Court of Appeal affirming the judgment of the Federal High Court is hereby affirmed. The said judgment of the Federal High Court is hereby restored. For the avoidance of doubt, it is hereby ordered that the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation should forthwith stop releasing and paying to the government of Rivers State, its organs, departments, and officials any money belonging to Rivers State until an appropriation law is enacted by Rivers State House of Assembly, constituted as prescribed by the 1999 Constitution. The Right Honorable Martins Chike Amaewhule and the other 26 members should forthwith resume sitting unhindered as Speaker and members, respectively, of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The Rivers State House of Assembly should resume sitting with all elected members forthwith. I think the judgment is clear, but there are some aspects that can be confusing. Like I said before, there are things that Fubara could have done. In all of these, without sounding to be biased, both sides engaged in right and wrong activities. Right and wrong. And as it is now, all of these just goes to prove how weak our political parties are. If, as at the time that all of these issues were happening, if the PDP was not a weak party as a result of its weak constitution, there are certain steps that the PDP would have taken that would have prevented all of this. Certain steps. For example, the PDP could have written to the the State House of Assembly members to clarify their actions. That way, at the heat of the moment, I am very, very certain that the House of Assembly members would have confirmed their defection in black and white. And if they did not if they had confirmed their defection in black and white to the PDP at that time, then the PDP would have had concrete evidence to present to say these lawmakers defected. Now, if at that time the PDP set up a disciplinary panel and wrote officially to these lawmakers to confirm their position, and the lawmakers indeed denied the defections like they later did, the disciplinary committee can base their decision on the video and declare their actions as anti-party and then punish them by expulsion through anti-party activities. And that also would have provided a ground for them to lose their seat, following which the PDP could have gone to court, because the court is the one that has the responsibility to interpret the Constitution. We can't just say, oh, because the Constitution says it, then we can take laws into our own hand and act accordingly. No. After specifying and getting concrete evidence, the PDP would then have gone to the court to say, based on our decision, either the confirmation letter written by the House of Assembly members or the expulsion letter written by the disciplinary committee, based on that, the 27 lawmakers have lost their seat, and then you could have prayed the court to declare their seats vacant, since the speaker that could have declared the seat vacant is part of those that have decamped or defected. If he had done that, I'm sure the PDP would have been able to get that court order, and based on that, the PDP would then have been able to go to INEC to order a rerun election. This would have been the constitutional thing to do on the part of the PDP, but the PDP was weak. The 4 other lawmakers that later went on to, on their own, determine that they are the legitimate House of Assembly. They did not go to court to get a court order clarifying the interpretations of Section 109. They acted on their own. They can still do that now. If they are gone to court to say, this is what we have, these people have defected, this is the evidence that they defected, and the speaker is part of them, so nobody to activate Section 109. Court, please activate Section 109 on the behalf of the 4 of us. I'm sure if they had done that, the court would have given them that order, and they would have legitimate ground to now say, we are the substantial House of Assembly. Even the governor too could have followed that path. But you see, in this country, we all know how to break the law. And then we now begin to look for where the law does not favor us. We look for explanation or things to escape. On both sides, they broke the law. On both sides, they have been right in some issues. So what does this teach us? We must learn a lesson. And the lesson to learn is that the rule of law must be respected at all times, and that everybody must subscribe to due process. This is what we're suffering here. I am very, very sure that right now, since we don't even know where these people stand, yes, on paper they can say, oh, there's no proof of defection, which means that technically they are still with the PDP. But in practice, in theory, since they are loyal to Wike, who is working with the APC now, we can say that their allegiances are with the APC. But here's where it becomes a problem. If right now the remaining 4 lawmakers do go to court to activate Section 109, legitimately, I am sure they will get favorable response. Also, the PDP can also take action if they were not weak to compel these 27 lawmakers to state where they stand and set up a disciplinary committee to deal with them, to say, oh, you were engaged in anti-party activities because of this and this and this and that reason. And the punishment for such anti-party activities can be decided to be expulsion. If they do expel those 27 lawmakers, then they can go to court based on those expulsion to declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers open, vacant. They can do that. That's a legitimate way to go. And then they can now go to INEC to say, do a rerun election. Anything aside from this, they probably will just be wasting their time. And everybody will just be crying wolf from their own side of the divide without respect for the rule of law. As has been seen from all that we have read so far, everything came or started from a weak political party. A political party that could not knock its members in line. This is why I suggest that we form our own political party. If we do not form our own political party, all the parties that we have now, political parties that we have now, they are used to this kind of shenanigans, this kind of chicanery. They are used to it. They are weak. In most of those parties, you have individuals that are stronger than the party. All of the political parties support big man politics. You have strong individuals politics. Strong individuals that have very deep pockets that are even bigger than the party in practice. So long as we have this, we cannot get justice or internal democracy from the political party. And if we don't get internal democracy from the political party, how do we expect to get credible leaders come out? All the political parties right now set very humongous amounts as nomination forms for any office. This singular act is the reason why many Nigerians are not interested in participating in the political process, because it has been hugely monetized, particularly with respect to these nomination forms and expression of interest. This is why we need to come up and set up another political party. Yes, it's an option. If we can get all the other political parties to engage in political party reforms such that they make the primaries to be direct primaries and they make the nomination form and expression of interest to be free. Yes, if they can achieve only these two, I am very, very certain that the political parties will create level playing fields for all to participate. But they won't do that. They will give you excuse that, oh, you need money to conduct political party primaries. They'll give you that excuse. But is this really true? Is it tenable? The truth must be told that if any political party wants to run primaries that are free, fair, and credible, they would not need so much money to conduct it. All this talk about money is just an excuse to hide behind something to work towards an answer. That's all. So, but in the absence of the ability to get all these political parties to come up with reforms, political party reforms, forget even the electoral act reforms now. Yes, we need reforms there, but at the political parties first. If they are not able to do that, the truth must be told. We must start our own political party. If we have a political party with the right ideologies and with the right punishment and the carrots and sticks, punishment and reward, clearly stated in its constitution, we'll create a level playing field and we'll solve a lot of the leadership problems that we have. Right now, we are still making the mistake of thinking that what we need is a leader with credibility to fill the position of leadership. And we then expect that on their own, these leaders with integrity would then do the right thing, would not abuse their office for personal gain, so that Nigeria can be better. But the truth of the matter is, that is not true. Just like you can't engage in a journey to look for a goat with integrity. So put in a room with a bunch of tubers of yam. And then you expect that because that goat has integrity, the integrity is strong enough to stop him from abusing his powers to eat the tubers of yam. What you need to do is not to look for a goat with integrity, which almost does not exist. What you need to do is to look for a very strong rope to tie the goat to a pole so that the rope can restrict the movement of the goat, such that the farthest the goat can go, allowed by the rope, the yam is still out of his reach. This is what laws do for developed countries. And this is what we need in Nigeria. Instead of engaging on a journey to be looking for leaders with integrity, we should look at how we can get a rope, this time laws. We should look for how we can get laws that we compel these leaders to do the right thing. That's what we need. When we get the right laws, the leaders would not need to have integrity. If they like, they can have. If they don't like, they may not have. But so far as they are leaders and we have those laws in place, no matter how hard they even wanted it, the rope of the law that we have put in place will not allow them to reach the yam. This is what we need to do. But unfortunately, the only people that can come up with those laws, they are the people in the National Assembly. And right now, they are part of the gang of state captors that have captured Nigeria. So what do? We need to go back to the political parties. If we can come up with a political party with right ideologies, we can galvanize, we can network and create a network of Nigerians that believe in the new Nigeria that we are talking about. And once we have those, solve some leadership problem, solve some followership problem, come up with strategies to counter the 5 elements of the APC and Tinubu's strategy. Once we do that, then we can level the playing field and bring the right leaders into office. And once we do that, then they can engage to begin to create the laws that we need to restrict leaders and restricting their powers. This, I believe, is the way to go. This is why I always call for us to network. There's a link in the description for you to join us to start a political party. These activities, they are very, very capital intensive. They are very expensive to execute. So we will need your contribution. To start the political party, you need to pay INEC, you need to pay CAC and all of those. These things cost money. Give and take, you need about 5 million to start. These are monies that single individuals can give. But we wouldn't advise single individuals giving it because we want a situation whereby everybody owns the party. We do not want a situation whereby one person will come and say, I'm the one that funded the party, so therefore the party must dance to my tune. Which is exactly what is happening with the PDP right now. And we don't want that for this party. So we want to advise, if it is 1,000 you can give, please give the 1,000 as a minimum. And if you don't have, you can still join us. Your effort can also go a long way. But if you can do way more than the 1,000, please do it. There's a link in the description. There's a bank account in the description. Send in your donations. Let us do this work together. We can't keep saying Nigeria is gone and sit down and do nothing. Nigeria is gone, Nigeria is gone. They are still selling our crude oil every day. Some people are still collecting the money from the crude oil every day. NNPC is still there, selling our crude oil, sometimes in the black market, and not remitting all the money to us. The legislators are still there, converting public money into private pockets, particularly with what Senator Natasha Akpabio just revealed. People like Wike will still be doing what they are doing in Rivers State. Yet we are saying Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is not gone. Nigeria may be sick. Nigeria may be in the ICU. But forget it. Nigeria is not gone. We still have a lot to do to save it. Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is gone. People are still suffering. People are still going hungry as I speak with you right now. People are still dying because of poor medical or healthcare system in the country. All of these things are still happening. Yet we are saying Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is gone. It's what people like Simon Ekpa said. And I was shocked to particularly see that the federal government has frozen their accounts. To particularly see that they have bank accounts in this same Nigeria they call a zoo. In this same Nigeria that they say they are not part of. Yes, is it not funny for somebody like Simon Ekpa to come out and say they are no longer Nigerians, they are Biafrans. And yet, they still hold bank accounts in this same Nigeria. Is that not an irony? This is the illusion that we find ourselves in. We allow ourselves to be fooled by some people into thinking that Nigeria is gone, so that we will not act and do anything to stop the people that put Nigeria in this very rubbish condition. Don't let them deceive you any further. Take action. It doesn't have to be too serious an action. Just a little contribution by way of your widow's mite to this cause. We can still take Nigeria back. Whatever it is that you're looking for, we can get it only through this new political party. If you feel very strongly that we should divide Nigeria and have peace, we need people to divide it. We need people to discuss it and come up with the modalities of how we can operate. If we can agree, fine. If we cannot agree, then we go our separate ways. Everything has to come from a point of discussion. But the people in charge of the system, the executive, the judiciary, they are not interested in that. So we need a political party where Nigerians of like minds, the majority that are silent right now, can come out to speak and say, this is what we want. And that can only be provided by a new party such as the Abundance Party. So people of Nigeria, we need to come and work together. Whether it is that you are looking for a new constitution. Yes, I believe that Nigeria needs a new constitution. Even though that whatever the constitution we operate, the enemies of Nigeria will still work to subvert it. But a new constitution will certainly help, particularly a constitution that is well strengthened. But the truth of the matter remains, who will give you that new constitution? Only people in the National Assembly or in the executives who have the political will to do so will call for a sovereign national conference to give us a new constitution. The people in charge right now are not interested in that. So why would we continue to scream to these same people over and over again to do what we ask them, want them to do, that they have continuously refused to do, and we are still asking them to do it? Is that not insanity? The best thing to do to get a new constitution is the well-meaning Nigerians that are out there, that have the interest of the country at heart. Bring them together under this new political party with clearly stated ideologies, rewards, and punishment. Yes, backed up by a very strong constitution. And then these people can run for office through these legitimate means and then win. And then get into the National Assembly and then do what? Give us a new constitution. So everything comes back to a political party. You want true federalism? Only people who will not have any benefits from this current system can give you true federalism. And right now, all these people, they have ganged up. We have active state capture in progress. Active state capture. So it's only if we all come together to everything comes to this new political party. You must join us to form this new political party. If not, we'll just keep screaming. We'll just keep shouting, thinking we are holding government accountable, but not knowing we're just shouting. And there will be no result. Yes, there will be no result. So again, I call on you, join us. Let us create this new political party. It will help you, it will help me. Wouldn't it be wonderful that you as an Uber driver can just decide to run for office without having deep pockets, without knowing any political godfathers? Wouldn't it be wonderful that a teacher in the school who is paid 200,000, 100,000 can decide to run for even president of this country? Would that not be wonderful? Wouldn't it be wonderful that you have a mechanic who has KUSAT, who has contributed a lot to the society, can wake up and say, I want to be president? Wouldn't it be wonderful without having deep pockets? I'm not talking about illiterates like them Adilabus of those days. We're talking about people with interest who do not have deep pockets. This is what we want to achieve with this, our new political party. Join us to carry out this task. Any delays is just wasting time. They will keep giving us things to talk about. If it is not Natasha Akpoti versus Senator Akpabio, it will be Obasa versus Miranda. It will be Wike versus Fubara. They will always have something to give us to talk about. It will be APC versus PDP in Oshun. They will always have something to give us to talk about that will distract us from engaging in strategic actions that will actually push Nigeria in the directions that we want. In all of these, our leaders still fail to see something very important. The fact that somehow an elite group of people in the US-led West continue to use the head of our leaders. They don't know, they don't see it. What used to happen in the days of the slave trade in the days of colonization, where we were told that the slave traders came to us and they gave our forefathers mirrors. They gave our forefathers powder. They gave our forefathers pancake and gave our forefathers mirrors and gave them whiskey. All those things are still in place today. I know some of you find it difficult to believe that. How can you say our forefathers were given mirrors? Some of them were given pancake or powder to rub their face, and they were given whiskey, and because of that, they sold their fellow brothers and sisters into slavery. Yes, that may well be true. Even though there are others that say no, that it's not possible for our parents to do that because our parents were already engaging in slavery before even the colonialist came or the slave traders, European slave traders came. Yes, that may well be true. But here's one thing you must understand. In all of these, the fact that they came with mirrors, they came with powder, they came with whiskey and all that, Ankara and cloth, is symbolic. What happened then is happening now. They have come again with mirrors. They have come again with powder. They have come again with Ankara. They have come again with whiskey. Again in this day. And because of Ankara, because of powder, because of whiskey, our leaders of today are selling their brothers and sisters into slavery, and they don't know it. This is why we need this new political party. They don't know it. How do I mean? The mirrors have been replaced with the smartphone. Yes, something to distract you. Something to look at yourself and say, what do people think about me? That's what the mirrors have been replaced with. The powder and Ankara, they have been replaced with luxury. It is luxury. Oh, you want to drive the biggest car, the most expensive Rolls Royce or Lamborghini or Ferrari or Escalade. You want to live in the biggest house. My house is 1 billion naira. You want to pride yourself in that. You want to wear the most expensive cloth. It's luxury, whether fashion, whether... that's what it represents. And think about it. Look in our society today. Would you tell me that you don't see that our leaders have been blinded by luxury? Because of luxury, because they want something they can hold on to and say is my own, they are not seeing that we are being decapitated. They are removing our ability to produce and manufacture. And this started from the 1980s. From the first advent of Buhari, from Buhari to Babangida, from Babangida to Shonekon, from Shonekon to Abacha, from Abacha to Abdul Salam, from Abdul Salam to Olusegun Obasanjo, to Yaradua, to Goodluck Jonathan, to Buhari, and now to Tinubu. They can't see it. That these people, they are using the same things that they used before during slavery, again, to fool our leaders to doing their bidding. And our leaders are carried away with all these distractions. The same things are happening again. And unless we, the people, come together, we cannot, I repeat it, we cannot have a Nigeria that works for all. There are 4 segments of the Nigerian economy, of the Nigerian state, that these countries have tactically and strategically destroyed. And you will see that these 4 sectors, no government, particularly the Tinubu administration, has been allowed to invest in them. Because these are the only 4 segments of the Nigerian economy, of the Nigerian life, that can guarantee food security, that can guarantee physical security, territorial integrity. Yes, only these 4 sectors. Right now, would you say Nigeria's territorial borders are defended? Are we defended against the F-22s and the F-35s of the Americans? The Dassault fighter jets of the French? The fighter jets of the British? The Sukhois of the Russians? The fighter jets of the Chinese? Even that of Turkey? Are we defended against them? No, because the investment in the 4 critical sectors that we guarantee that these foreigners have found a way to fool our leaders to prevent them from investing in those 4 sectors. And unless they invest in those 4 sectors, we can never have any security, whether food security or whatever. Even when they tell us that we are investing in agriculture, go and check Tinubu's 2025 budget, 2024 budget, 2023 supplementary budget. Go and check it. You will find out that all the so-called investment into agriculture are investment into consumption. We are investing into buying more tractors. Who makes tractors? The global north. And every time you import a tractor into this country, you ship very high quality jobs out and you bring in very rubbish jobs and poverty and hunger. And yet they won't even allow us to invest in agricultural production towards food security. They make sure that they give us insecurity in the north, give us insecurity anywhere that we are producing food, so that we cannot produce even the food that we need to eat. These people are strategically attacking us. They need our leaders to implement rubbish policies that will give them their three objectives. What are their three objectives? They want the resources of Nigeria for themselves. I'm talking about the elite group of people in the US-led West. In fact, in the global north. They don't want Nigerians to benefit from Nigeria's resources while they are getting it. And then they want Nigeria to be dependent on them for goods and services that they produce from the resources that they get from Nigeria. These are their three objectives. And for them to achieve it, they need our government to implement their own policies. And unfortunately, only a traitor, only a foolish set of leaders would dance to their tune to enact policies and implement policies that it is obvious that policies are against the interests of the people. Yet they implement it just so far as they can get some things to put in their pocket. The mirror, the whiskey, the powder, and the Ankara. Those things are at play again. Only a traitor will do that. So somehow these foreign leaders, they keep finding ways to force our leaders to do their bidding, to work against Nigeria. Only when we level the political playing field can we solve this problem. Only when anybody can come. That is when you will see that leaders of integrity in this country, leaders that cannot be bought, will come out. Right now, no sane leader that has integrity, that sweated for the 10 million or 20 million or 30 million that they have, will come out and blow that money on politics. No sane leader will do that. So how do we get them to come out? By leveling the political playing field, by making sure that money politics out of the window. And that can only happen when we have a political party that guarantees zero nomination form. Don't tell me it cannot be done. They are doing it in the US. Yes, it's $5,000. $5,000 is less than 50% of the minimum annual wage. At $7.50, it comes to about $30,000 minimum wage in the US. $30,000. But what do you have? $5,000 is like 12.5% or 25% of the minimum wage. So which means that any worker on minimum wage can actually afford the nomination form in the US. But here's where it even gets better. If the citizen of America does not even want to pay that $5,000, he can just go to the electoral body, get 3,000 forms, go to Americans, get them to sign those forms, and then present them. Once he has 3,000 signatures from American citizens, the person becomes an aspirant on any platform. This is what we need in Nigeria to level the playing field. If not, if we don't level the political playing field, we can never solve our leadership problem. All these distractions they give us, they will continue to give us those distractions. They will continue to give us things to talk about, even politically. Minus the fact that there's entertainment there to thoroughly distract and divide us. There's religion there to thoroughly distract and divide us. Yes, religion. Whether Christianity or Islam, or even our traditional religion. Many times we don't fail to see how they have been weaponized against us. So rather than hold on to government for critical amenities, we are holding on to God. And we are actively encouraged to overlook the government and to look to God. Which is wrong. Because every time we do that, we continue to strengthen corrupt leaders over ourselves. That's the distraction I'm talking about. Religion distracts us from focusing on leadership. And then we leave all of that and we put it in the hands of God. God has said it very clearly. Who does not work, let him not eat. Even Jesus Christ said it. My Father worketh, hitherto, and I walk. It doesn't matter how religious or how prayerful you are, how holy you are. If you don't work, no amount of prayer will put food on your table. God will not be merciful unto you when you fail to work and then you are asking him to feed your family. In fact, God makes it clear. Whoever is not able to feed his family is worse than an infidel. Is worse than an unbeliever. That person should not even consider himself religious, whether Islam or Christian. So, God wants us to work. God wants us to focus on government. In fact, the Bible says the powers that be, they are ordained of God. Which means that God wants us to focus on government, on what government does. Because it is government that has been repeatedly used to enact policies and implement policies that are making your life difficult. Think about it. All the testimonies that people give in church, in mosques, in the Babalawo, in the traditional, because many of you don't know that even in traditional religion, people give testimonies. All the testimonies they give are things that government is supposed to provide. So when out of 1 million people that are praying for healthcare, one person gets healed, the person gives testimony. He doesn't care whether the remaining 1 million people get benefit. He thanks God and says, oh, even though 1 million people are suffering, God, you saved me. So you see that for you to be a pious and religious person, you have to be a selfish person, which is not good. We all have to look beyond our personal interest and look for what we can contribute to this country. We have to. All this talk about jackpot, we are playing is because we don't understand how the elite group of people in the US-led West or in the global North are making Nigerians suffer. How they are responsible for Nigeria being in the problem it is in. If we do, we will not jackpot. Any attempt to jackpot is simply rewarding those responsible for our problem with what they want. That's what they want, our best brains to live. They want us to be distracted. Instead of concentrating our energies on fixing these countries, they want us to fix those energies on jackpotting, to go and develop their own countries. And we fail to realize this. They are coming into our country to buy our country. You'll be amazed at the amount of Nigeria that BlackRock has bought over. Many of the different sectors, you don't know that the people in those sectors, billionaire business people, they are fronts for these American institutions. They have used individuals to weaken the sovereignty of Nigeria. And they have pushed all manner of policies to that effect. We don't understand it. If we did, we will stand in defense of country. We will stand in defense of country. Those who are allowing themselves to be fooled by this elite group of people in the global North into buying weapons with our hard-earned resources. Sometimes they are even given weapons for free, so long as they agree to cause trouble in their home fatherland, Nigeria. You people should think. Think about it. They're not acting in your interest. They're just using you. They're fooling you. The Ogaga principle of war must be obeyed. If you are not making your own weapons, don't go to war. Because ultimately, the person who benefits from war is the person who is selling the weapon, not the both warring sides. No. It's the person who is selling the weapons. Are we making any weapons in Nigeria? No. We can't make weapons because the 4 critical sectors of the Nigerian economy that would have guaranteed that, they have destroyed them. They have destroyed local, homegrown agricultural solutions. They have destroyed it. In fact, destroyed our agriculture with insecurity, with corruption. They have destroyed steel and fabrication technology. No country survives without steel. There is no advanced country in the world that survives without steel. Japan does not have iron ore, but yet they are top 10 steel country in the world. You cannot be a truly sovereign country without steel and fabrication technologies. Yet, they destroyed it. In the 80s, under Shehu Shagari, we used to have them. But after Buhari came, they are the ones that allowed themselves to be used by the IMF and the World Bank, the Babangidas of this world. You can imagine somebody like Babangida in his first address after overthrowing Buhari, coming to tell Nigerians that, oh, the IMF have spoken to us, have given us some ideas, we will implement them. Go and check. The videos are there on YouTube. That's what the first thing, which means that they allowed the IMF to get to them. And our leaders still do it now. If you still doubt, you remember what Obasanjo said to Charles Oludo. Never you say yes, no to IMF, but never you do their bidding. They continue to interfere. They continue to induce. They continue to coerce our leaders, to force them. They force corrupt leaders on us so that they can use that corruption to blackmail the leaders to implementing policies that are inimical to us as Nigerians. And the only way to solve it, political parties. A new political party or political party reform that will guarantee a level playing field so that Nigerians with integrity can come out. There are genuine leaders in Nigeria. There are genuine leaders with integrity and character. But unfortunately, the political parties shut the door on them. And it's by design. That's how the elite group of people in the global north want it, so that they can continue to capitalize on it to force corrupt leaders on us. That's what they are doing. And unless we take action to level that playing field, things will continue to go from bad to worse. Look, corruption only thrives in darkness. When you shine light on corruption, it diminishes. Corruption is like a vampire. It is strong when there is darkness. But when you shine light on it, it weakens. Corruption is like cockroaches. When there is darkness, they play. But when there is light, they disappear. That is what corruption is. And for us to shine light on it, we need a level playing field. We need a new political party. If these current ones will not give us the political party reforms that we need. And it's hard for them to do that because they are enjoying it. They are benefiting from it. It's hard for them to do that. So everything comes back to you and I. Everything. We must start with this political party to solve the leadership problem. And guess what? After we solve the leadership problem, we need to solve the followership problem. And that's where the free food and social welfare law comes in. And that's where some other laws, the prohibition of saving money and buying properties abroad, the prohibition of the foreign education tourism, medical tourism, all those, they are laws that we need to enact to save our country. Nigeria is looking up to you to help her. I know the normal things for us to say, what has Nigeria done for me? Nigeria has been hijacked. Nigeria has been captured by some captors. You know, they call something state capture. Yes, Nigeria has been captured. Nigeria is calling on you to contribute to free her. There is nothing that you are asking for that you can get from this Nigeria in its captured state. Whatever it is that you feel, that you want, you cannot get it from Nigeria in this captured state. You can't. You can't get your secession. You can't get your constitution. You can't get your true federalism. You can't get your stop to marginalize. You can't get anything from this Nigeria that has been captured. You can't. The only way for us to get whatever it is that we want from Nigeria is to first of all rescue her from these state capture, these state captors. And the only way to do that, political parties for the leadership problem and the food and social welfare law for the followership problem. Join us in this task. There's a link in the description. We need money to run this. We can't be on social media alone. Social media consists of people who are the top 10 or top 1% of Nigerians. You need data to be on social media. You need a very good phone to be on social media. Not many Nigerians have that capacity. We need to reach them physically, neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend. And we need money to carry out these activities. So in starting the political party, even if it's 1,000 naira you have, contribute it, send it to the account in the description. This is Nigeria calling out to you. They say, pray for the peace of Nigeria. You will prosper if you love her. Is that not what your Bible tells you? Except that it says Jerusalem. Remove Jerusalem and put Nigeria there. Pray for the peace and prosperity of Nigeria. They shall prosper that love her. This is how you can contribute to your country. This is the best investment to make in this time. Send however much you can send into the description below. We'll be transparent in the disbursement of this. This is not a one-man show. No one man can fix Nigeria. And that is why it is a problem when we're thinking of people to solve the problem of Nigeria, we're thinking of one man. Oh, we're thinking of only Peter Obi. Oh, we're thinking of only Al Mustafa. No, 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 no. By this time, at this point in time, we should have Nigerians across all the 8,900 wards. Nigerians across all the 176,000 polling units that are ready to contribute their quota without asking for anything. We need those people. And we need to reach out to them. So your contribution is key. Your contribution, whether financial or by ideas, is key. Help us reach out to others. And let us fix this country.